Ever wonder how the land of the rising sun got its start? Prepare to journey through time and explore Japan's rich history. Imagine an archipelago brimming with mountains, forests, and coastlines nestled in the Pacific Ocean's heart. This is Japan, a nation shaped as much by its geography as by its people. Its rugged terrain fostered a culture of resilience and innovation, while the surrounding seas nurtured a sense of curiosity and exploration. From the earliest days, Japan has been a tapestry of diverse cultures, traditions, and ideas, woven together to create a history as vibrant as the cherry blossoms that grace its landscapes each spring. It's a history that spans millennia, from the reigns of ancient emperors and the valor of the samurai to the pulse of modern metropolises. Join us as we delve into the story of Japan, starting from its earliest days. Japan's tale begins with its ancient emperors, figures shrouded in both history and myth. These storied rulers, dating back to the 7th century, were more than just political leaders. They were seen as living deities, spiritual figureheads who bridged the gap between the heavens and the earth. The grand narrative starts with Emperor Jimmu, the first recorded emperor of Japan. Legend has it that Emperor Jimmu was a direct descendant of the sun goddess Amaterasu. He was not just a ruler, but a divine entity, setting a precedent for the godlike status of future emperors. His reign, which supposedly began in 660 BC, marked the start of the imperial lineage that continues to this day. Emperors held a pivotal role in ancient Japanese society. They were the spiritual, cultural, and political epicenter. Their decrees dictated the course of the nation, their influence shaping the societal norms and traditions. Yet they were not isolated figures, ruling from an ivory tower. They were part of a complex, interconnected web of nobles, courtiers, and common folk, all playing their part in the grand tapestry of ancient Japanese society. Significantly, ancient Japan was not a cultural island. It absorbed and adapted various elements from its continental neighbor, China. From the Chinese, the Japanese borrowed writing systems, architectural styles, and even elements of government structure. Buddhism, which later became a significant part of Japanese spiritual life, was also a product of this cultural exchange. But the Japanese didn't just copy and paste. They took these elements and made them uniquely their own, creating a distinctive cultural blend. From these ancient emperors, a unique culture was born, setting the stage for a new era in Japan's history. This was a land where rulers were gods, where society was a complex ballet of roles and relationships, and where foreign influence was not a threat, but an opportunity for growth. And as we'll see, this was just the beginning of Japan's fascinating journey through time. Enter the era of the samurai, a time of honor, valor, and warfare. This period, spanning from the 12th to the 19th centuries, was characterized by the rise of the warrior class, known as the samurai. The samurai were not just warriors, they were a class of their own, following a strict code of conduct, the Bushido Code, which emphasized loyalty, self-discipline, and respect. The samurai were more than just warriors. They were also skilled in the arts, literature, and philosophy, embodying the concept of the warrior scholar. The Bushido Code guided their actions both on and off the battlefield. It was an unwritten and yet universally understood set of principles that governed the life and death of every samurai. Honor was everything, and for a samurai, to die an honorable death was the ultimate achievement. Battles led by samurai were legendary, their tales passed down through generations. One of the most notable was the Genpei War, a conflict that ended the Heian period and ushered in the age of the samurai. This was a time of constant warfare where power was often won through the sword. But the samurai did not just wield power on the battlefield. They also held political sway through the shogunate system. Under this system, the shogun, often a samurai, held the real power, while the emperor was a figurehead. This system had a profound impact on Japanese society, shaping its structure and norms. The shogunate system lasted for several centuries, with the Tokugawa shogunate being the last. This period of samurai rule saw Japan isolated from the rest of the world, a decision made to maintain power and control. The samurai era, filled with conflict and courage, left an indelible mark on Japan's cultural and political landscape. The samurai, with their strict code of honor and their prowess in battle, have become a symbol of Japan's past, embodying the spirit of a time when honor, loyalty, and bravery were the highest virtues. Imagine a country completely isolated from the world for over 200 years. Welcome to the Edo period. In the 17th century, Japan's Tokugawa shogunate enacted a policy widely known as sakoku, roughly translating to closed country. This policy of national isolation was a unique diplomatic approach, one that starkly contrasted with the colonial ambitions of European powers of the same era. Under Sakoku, no foreigner could enter, nor could any Japanese leave the country on penalty of death. The Tokugawa shogunate effectively transformed Japan into a hermit kingdom, leaving the nation to develop in a state of seclusion for more than 2 centuries. During this time, Japan's culture flourished in a bubble, untouched by external influences. Traditional arts like kabuki theater, ukiyo-e painting and haiku poetry reached new heights of refinement and popularity. The tea ceremony evolved into a profound spiritual practice, and the samurai code of Bushido was codified and deeply ingrained into society. While the country was culturally rich, it was economically stagnant. The shogunate maintained a strictly regulated society, where social mobility was limited, and the economy was largely based on agriculture, with little room for technological or industrial advancement. Despite the isolation, Japan was not entirely cut off. The Dutch were allowed to maintain a small, tightly controlled trading post in Nagasaki. Through this tiny window to the outside world, Japan selectively absorbed foreign knowledge, particularly in the fields of medicine and astronomy. Yet this period of isolation was not to be a permanent state. The world outside was changing rapidly, and Japan's isolation made it vulnerable. The arrival of American Commodore Matthew Perry and his black ships in 1853 was a wake-up call, signaling the end of Japan's self-imposed isolation. This period of isolation, however, could not last forever, and Japan was about to enter a time of rapid change. In the midst of the 19th century, Japan flung its doors open to the world and embarked on a path of modernization. This defining moment, known as the Meiji Restoration, marked a radical shift in Japan's political and social structure. For centuries, Japan was ruled by a military government called the shogunate. Samurai warriors, seen as the pillars of this feudal system, held immense power and influence. However, as the rest of the world advanced, Japan remained isolated, its antiquated system growing increasingly incompatible with the rapidly changing world. The time for change was imminent, and it arrived with the Meiji Restoration in 1868. The Meiji Restoration was not just a political revolution, it was a complete overhaul of Japanese society. The ruling shogunate was abolished, and the emperor was restored to power. For the first time in centuries, Japan was no longer a feudal society, but a modern nation-state. This period witnessed a surge in Western influence in Japan. The nation, eager to catch up with the West, embraced everything from Western clothing and architecture to education and law. Western experts were even invited to Japan to help modernize its military and industrial sectors. It was a time of rapid change and progress, but it was not without its challenges. The rapid modernization of Japan brought about significant social and economic upheaval. The samurai class, once the backbone of Japanese society, found itself obsolete. Many resisted the changes, leading to several rebellions. Despite these challenges, the Meiji government persevered, pushing forward with their reforms. The Meiji era also saw the rise of Japan as an imperial power. The modernization of the military enabled Japan to compete with Western powers, leading to victories in the Sino-Japanese War and the Russo-Japanese War. The Meiji era set Japan on a fast track to becoming a global power, but not without its challenges. Yet it was these very challenges that shaped Japan into the nation it is today, a blend of traditional values and modern innovation. The Meiji Restoration, thus, was a pivotal turning point in Japan's history, setting the stage for its emergence as a global power in the 20th century. As the 20th century dawned, Japan found itself in the midst of global conflicts and dramatic societal changes. The onset of World War I saw Japan, an ally of the Allied powers, seize German territories in the Pacific and China. This marked Japan's emergence as a global power. However, the seeds of discontent were sown as Japan's territorial ambitions were not fully recognized in the post-war Treaty of Versailles. Then came World War II. Aligned with the Axis powers, Japan pursued its imperialistic ambitions with a vengeance, leading to the infamous attack on Pearl Harbor in 1941. This act of aggression propelled the United States into the war and marked the beginning of the end for Japan. The final chapter of the war was seared into the annals of history with the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki in August 1945. The unprecedented destruction led to Japan's surrender, marking the end of World War II. But the story didn't end there. Japan was occupied by American forces, led by General Douglas MacArthur. The occupation lasted 7 years. during which Japan underwent significant political and social reform. The American written constitution abolished the military and declared Japan a democratic nation. With the war behind them and a new constitution in place, the Japanese people set about rebuilding their nation. This period, known as the post-war economic miracle, saw Japan transform from a war-torn country into one of the world's leading economies. Industries like automobiles, electronics, and shipbuilding flourished, and the Made in Japan label became synonymous with quality and innovation. It was a time of profound change and resilience. The Japanese people, with their indomitable spirit, not only rebuilt their country, but redefined their place in the world. Devastated by war but undeterred, Japan rose from the ashes to become an economic powerhouse. Fast forward to today, and you'll find a Japan that is a fusion of tradition and modernity. The land of the rising sun, with its unique blend of old and new, stands as a beacon of resilience in a rapidly changing world. The Japan of today is a global powerhouse with a strong presence in the world economy. It's the third largest economy by nominal GDP and fourth by purchasing power parity. From automobiles to electronics, Japan's industries set a benchmark for quality and innovation on the world stage. And let's not forget the technological advancements that Japan has contributed. It's home to some of the world's leading tech companies, pushing the boundaries of what's possible in robotics, AI, and more. Bullet trains, also known as Shinkansen, zoom across the country at breathtaking speeds, symbolizing Japan's prowess in engineering and technology. Yet, amidst this whirlwind of modernity, Japan has managed to preserve its traditions. The same country that brings you high-tech toilets also offers tea ceremonies that date back centuries. Ancient temples stand tall in the heart of bustling cities, a testament to the country's deep-rooted respect for its past. And then there's the pop culture. Anime, manga, video games. Japan's unique cultural exports have won hearts across the globe. From the enchanting stories of Studio Ghibli to the thrilling battles in Naruto, Japanese pop culture has a way of transcending borders and bringing people together. It's not just about the products and the pop culture, though. The Japanese work ethic, the concept of kaizen or continuous improvement, the focus on harmony and respect, these are integral aspects of the Japanese way of life that the world admires. From ancient emperors to samurais, from isolation to global integration, the journey of Japan is a testament to its resilience and adaptability. Today's Japan, with its harmonious blend of tradition and technology, continues to inspire and fascinate the world. Japan's history is not just a series of events, but a continuous narrative that shapes its present and future. From the ancient emperors reigning over a land of mystique and wonder, to the samurai, whose code of honor, discipline, and loyalty still echoes in the Japanese spirit today, our journey through Japan's past has been a vibrant tapestry of stories and events. These aren't isolated moments, but pieces of a larger puzzle that, when put together, reveal the soul of a nation. This continuity of history is evident in every corner of modern Japan. The country's period of isolation, for instance, was not a time of stagnation, but a season of introspection and growth. It was during this era that Japan cultivated a unique identity, a blend of tradition and innovation that still defines it today. Then came the Meiji Restoration, a pivotal turning point that marked the end of the samurai era and the dawn of modernization. The echoes of this period can be heard in the bustling city streets, the advanced technology, and the thriving economy of present-day Japan. And let's not forget the scars of the world wars and post-war Japan, a testament to the country's resilience and determination. These events, although painful, have shaped the nation's path towards peace and prosperity. In the heartbeat of modern Japan, we can still feel the pulse of its history. From the ancient temples standing tall amidst skyscrapers, to the tea ceremonies conducted with precision and grace, to the cherry blossoms that bloom and fall, mirroring the cycle of life and death, every element of Japan is imbued with the essence of its past. So, as we wrap up our journey, let's remember that history is not merely a chronicle of events. It's a living, breathing entity that continues to shape and inspire. It's the thread that weaves together the past, present, and future. So next time you gaze upon the land of the rising sun, remember, you're not just looking at a country, you're witnessing a living history.